Yeah, okay. I think you have convinced me. But I wouldn't call it, it's not like cheating. Like, it's cheating if you go to lunch with this person and then you go hook up with them. But I think that it's just like, it's a questionable situation. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation in the first place?
Hello and welcome to the Pillow Talks podcast. We're your hosts, Vanessa
and Xander Marin.
I'm a sex therapist with over 20 years of experience.
And I'm just a regular dude. We share the ups and downs in our relationship while giving you step-by-step techniques for improving yours.
Make sure you subscribe for your weekly double date full of totally doable sex tips, practical relationship advice, hilarious and honest stories of what really goes on behind closed bedroom doors, and so much more. It's the sex education you wish you'd had. Is it cheating to stay in touch with an ex?
Ooh.
Is it cheating to have a coworker that you call your work wife or your work husband?
And you act like it too.
Is it cheating to follow hot girls on Instagram?
You know who we're talking about.
We are going there in today's episode. We are talking about a big question. Cheating. We're not talking about like the obvious stuff. Like, is it cheating to put my penis into another person who's not my partner? Obviously. But what we're talking
Assuming
about today,
that's your arrangement.
Yeah, your arrangement.
Or that's not your arrangement.
What we're talking about today is some gray areas. Where it's not totally clear.
Usually gray areas are where we don't talk about them very openly, so we all end up having different ideas of what really is okay and not okay.
So we turned to our Instagram community, we put up a question box, and we said, we're doing an episode called, Is This Cheating? Let us know. Are you in a scenario? Has your partner done something? Or have you done something that feels like a gray area? You're wondering, like, does this count as cheating or not? And I gotta say, we were flooded with responses. I really hope you guys liked this episode because we had so many submissions, so many different scenarios we could go over. It was really tough to pick just a handful to share today. So if you like this, we can make a whole lot more of these episodes. So before we get into the actual scenarios, first we need to say there really isn't any like hard and fast rule about cheating. Like, cheating is something that every couple needs to talk about, and they need to create their own boundaries and talk openly about, like, this is okay with us, this is not okay with us. Like, there are no just universal rights and wrongs here. And for some couples, not only are certain things like they don't feel like cheating, but they actually might feel exciting to each other. So in this episode, like, we're giving you our hot takes, but we always like to say, you know, we respect everybody's right to make their own rules in their own relationships. We think that this is something that couples should talk openly about. And we really hope that this episode can be a great conversation opener between you and your partner. Like, listen to the episode together. After we read over the scenario, pause the episode and have a conversation with each other and say, like, do you think that counts as cheating? How would you feel in that situation? I think this can be a great way to like start talking more openly about that. Then there was also this comment that we got that I wanted to read because I thought it was really interesting. Someone sent to us about cheating and gray areas. I'm really curious and nervous about the difference in emotional closeness between friendships with men and with women. It seems like the baseline level of emotional vulnerability and warmth between female friends is wildly different to what usually exists between men. I used to work with a lot of women and lots of them became good friends. I miss that dynamic. I'm also terrified of developing a close, warm friendship with a woman and being accused of emotional cheating. If a kind of friendship is available to my partner without the risk of it looking suspicious, but not to me, it feels like a big cultural double standard. I guess I don't even know what the term emotional infidelity means. I'd love it if you could dive into some of that in the episode. And this was from a man. So he's saying, like, I see my female partner having these like really close, intimate, emotional relationships with other women. I want to have those kinds of relationships as well, but like,
and he's had them in the past.
But like, I'm worried that reads as like emotional cheating. So Xander, what do you think emotional infidelity means?
Oh, this is before we even get to that question, I mean, God, like this has me thinking about this has me thinking about my own relationships with people. Because, I mean, in a way, I relate with this. I relate with this guy in terms of like, when I have been single in the past, I've definitely had more closer friendships with women, and definitely had a number of friendships where it felt like, I have a closer friendship, I guess, than maybe with other men, but definitely, not like in any kind of like romantic relationship. And and I guess like my reality has been that as, when I have gotten into relationships and, as I've been married and stuff like that, those type of much closer emotional relationships with women kind of tend to fade away. And I guess part of it may be that it feels like, oh, well, like my needs for female emotional closeness are being met by my partner, by my wife.
Do you think that happened in our relationship? Did you have close female friends that you drifted away from when we started dating?
No. I mean, I think like I probably had like one kind of like a work friend. Mm-hmm. But I think the reality was around the time we started dating, like she also started dating somebody else. And then it was just sort of this like...
You both kind of drifted.
Yeah, we both kind of drifted away.
I mean, this also brings up a really just interesting point about gender and socialization in general. Like women are given so much more permission to be like emotional creatures and to have these very like vulnerable, intimate relationships with each other. Whereas men, like you're not allowed to. Like it's gay, I'm putting that in quotes because we don't think that that's an insult or a problem.
Or it's just like feminine.
Yeah, it's not masculine. Like you're not supposed to like cry in front of your dude friends. Even things like physical touch. Like I touch my girlfriends so much, like hugs and like snuggles and stuff like that. And like guy friends don't touch each other, right? So it's like there's this level of emotional intimacy that so many men are missing in their lives in general. And it makes sense that they end up creating that more often with women than with men. And so, of course, in straight relationships, then that can feel really tricky to navigate where your partner's like, wait, hold on, who's this work wife that you have? Like, work wife? That even sounds weird.
Yeah, or like, why do you seem so much closer to her than you do to anybody else?
Mm-hmm. Before we go any further, we want to tell you a little bit more about our Pillow Talk sponsor, Floor. Floor is a sex-positive dating app for safely exploring one's kinks and desires. They're all about pleasure, which means they're eager to help their community find what makes them happy by creating a safe and comfortable space for consensual discovery. They don't draw age, gender, race, or other lines. Anyone is welcome to embark on an adventure and be open and honest on their journey to intimacy and genuine connections. Safety, respect, and consent are their main values. Floor is safe. There's a safe mode for women that prohibits any partner from sending nudes or even spicy texts unless it's off. All users are verified real people, and there's even a Floor Sparks card game that can make any chat fun and entertaining. Explore what you like on the Floor dating app. Being you is sexy. I mean, yeah, if I'm thinking about... I don't remember you having any particularly like close female friendship when we started dating. I'm trying to like put myself in those shoes. Like I guess philosophically, I totally think you're allowed to have friendships with women. I want you to be able to experience like emotional closeness with people of all genders. And if I'm being totally honest, like I could also imagine feeling a little bit nervous about that. Like, ooh, there's this other woman that he's like really close with and shares a lot of his, inner world. To go to the question of like, what is emotional cheating? To me, I think that what defines emotional cheating is that there's some sort of intention to like go outside of your relationship where, maybe you would want it to eventually be physical, but you're like seeking something with somebody else where there's an attraction there. And I guess a good litmus test for me would be, would you act any differently if your partner was there?
Haha, yeah, that's a good one.
So if you like, let's imagine you have Jessica, your like close female friend.
Jessica.
Hi
Jessica.
If the three of us are hanging out and you are, opening up to her and talking to her and giving her a hug and, whatever it is, and I'm there, versus like if the two of you are alone and you're acting in a different way, or you're alone and you're thinking like, if Vanessa was here, like she would probably be uncomfortable with me doing that, or I wouldn't do this in front of her. Like, I think that's the litmus test for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd also add to that, and this is tricky. I don't know if I can make this a hard and fast rule because there's always going to be like moments of exception. But I think in general, if you are in a serious romantic relationship with someone, then there's an expectation that you have a certain level of like emotional vulnerability with them, that you are in that because you are looking for physical and emotional needs to be met by that person, right? That's not to say that you can't have other emotional relationships with people where those people also meet similar emotional needs, right? But I think that if you are neglecting certain emotional needs or certain like emotional, I don't know, topics or something with your romantic partner, but then you are indulging those or getting those from somebody else, I think that is, you're probably on the path towards emotional infidelity. Like you're like, oh, I'm avoiding these types of emotional topics, or I'm trying, I'm like kind of putting up walls with my romantic partner and like, oh, I don't want to talk about this stuff. But then you're going to somebody else to do that. That's not to say that you can't go to a friend and talk about something tough. But I think in general, it's like if you are, I mean, a really simplistic example would be physical things. Like if you were like, oh yeah, well, I don't want to be physical with my romantic partner, so I will go get my physical needs met somewhere else. That is very obviously cheating. I'm trying to kind of transpose that into emotional terms. If it's like, I like don't want to have any deep conversations with my wife because I don't like deep conversations. But then I'm going to my best friend who's a girl and having all these deep emotional conversations. Like what's going on there? Like there's a disconnect. There's some type of you are not being faithful to the idea that like, hey, I'm in a romantic relationship where there's an assumption that we are having a certain level of emotional exchange.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole episode just about this topic, but I want to move on to the scenarios. But if you have any thoughts about this whole dynamic around male and female friendship, or any great definitions of what emotional infidelity or emotional cheating means, come on over to Instagram. We're at Vanessa and Xander. So let's get into the scenarios. Xander, what is your hot take on this one? Is it cheating to keep nudes from past relationships?
Oh, God.
I'll give you another out too. We can say, is it cheating? And you could also say, like, is it okay or not okay?
I mean, look, my hot take in general is, why do you need to keep nudes from somebody in the past when you are in a new relationship? Why do you really need to do that? I have very little to go on from experience. I think that there was one partner in the past that I did have some nude photos from. And when I broke up with her, like I didn't want it wasn't sexy to look at those. In fact, it felt kind of gross. Like, not that she was gross, but just like, yeah, like I'm not in a relationship with this person. I don't want to be in a relationship with this person. Why do I want to be looking at naked pictures of them?
But some people end relationships amicably.
Yes,
and there's some fond memories of that person.
Fond memories of their naked body. I mean, I don't know. Keep it to your imagination. I would say, like, look, this is a conversation that I think is a good conversation to have around the like kind of defining the relationship, or when you are talking about getting serious. Like, okay, what does this mean? Are we getting off dating apps? Are we, deleting old nudes from past partners? Because I mean, God, the reality is nudes are such more of a thing now than they were when
I don't have any nudes from past partners, and I feel like I really am missing out. So if you're my ex-boyfriend and you're listening to this, please send
nudes. We'll both look at them.
I really don't. Like, it wasn't a thing when I was dating.
Yeah,
I feel like I missed out.
Challenge. The one person where we sent a couple back and forth, it was like a study abroad situation, and it took a little work to make those pictures happen. and the bandwidth to send them back and forth around the world. But
yeah, I mean, I say, like, I don't think you need to completely erase all the evidence of another person. Like, I want people to end relationships on amicable terms. I want people to, like, have fond memories looking back on each other. And I don't feel the need to, like it doesn't threaten me that you've dated people in the past. And I don't need to put blinders on and pretend like nobody else ever existed before me.
But you don't need a very sexual visual reminder of that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like, I don't think you need to throw out like every single photo or letter or, shirt that they bought you or anything like that. But
or
I
like
do
every
think,
picture of you on social media. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I do think nudes feel a bit too far for me. But I do think it depends on relationship. Like, we're married, we've been together forever. I'm like, yeah, you're with me for life, buddy. Like, throw away those fucking photos. Versus like if we were, 6 months into dating, I'm like, yeah, well, we still might break up. So like, you could hang on to those if you wanted. There are some things in life that are okay to be a total crapshoot, like a cheap Instagram ad impulse buy or rolling the dice on a new workout class. But finding the right doctor should not be a total crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it's not, because you've got more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. You can also see their actual appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. The next time we need a doctor, we are definitely turning to ZocDoc. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/pillow to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/pillow. ZocDoc.com/pillow.
I mean,
have some
also,
nice memories.
this is kind of my question about nudes. Is like, when you're sending nudes to someone nowadays, and I mean, help me out, people listening, because I just haven't been in this situation. Like, when you're sending nudes to someone, how are you thinking about them in the future? Are you thinking like, hell yeah, to the person who I'm sending these to, like, hold on to these forever
life.
and always? Or are you thinking like, okay, this is like fun and sexy now, but like, I sure hope that like, when we stop hooking up or they get married to somebody else, that like they get rid of these or something. I don't know. I'm just curious, like, what, or like, if you were in a relationship with someone and you guys sent a bunch of nudes back and forth, how would you feel knowing that they got into another relationship and like they're holding on to those or they're looking at them actively?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good
how would you feel about that? I mean, I feel like there's some responsibility like these days when you break up with someone of like, okay,
I do
should
think
we
it's
delete?
it's respectful.
Yeah, like,
to like,
I'd like you to delete.
We're broken up. Let's delete each
Yeah,
other's
like I'd like
nudes.
to delete I'd like
Yeah.
you to delete the photos I sent you. Please do not, like, I don't want you sending those to anyone. I don't want you showing those to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Or, maybe even the decision together of like, hey, I'm going to delete all our stuff on social media because it's like too painful for me to look at or something like that. I mean, that would be great. But then, yeah, it's also, once you get into that serious committed relationship with someone, I think it's time to talk about, hey, I've got some stuff from the past. Like, how do you feel about that?
I also think there's a big difference with how actively you're keeping, how actively the word keeping means. So like, if you're looking at the photos, I would say that's definitely cheating. But if for example, like Xander looks at my phone and he's like scrolling back years to like find some old photos. There's another squirrel. They're like really interested. They're literally right outside of our window. If he was looking at my phone and found an old photo of a boyfriend and I was like, oh fuck, I like had no idea that was there.
I didn't know that iCloud history went all the way back.
I don't think that he could accuse me of cheating then. It could just be like, oh shit, I didn't know I had that. Let me delete that.
Yeah, now if I found like 1,000 of them, that might be a different story. But
Okay, let's move on to our next scenario. This is over a year ago now, but I found out my partner was using a sex toy that has an interactive app allowing you to talk with and control or be controlled by other users. My partner swears he never used the interactive feature, but would it be considered cheating if he did? To me, it feels way too intimate to let someone else into our sex life that way. Xander, hot take, is letting a stranger control your interactive sex toy app cheating?
what are we talking about? Like, basically, like, is letting a stranger jack you off? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, unless somehow both of you are like, yeah, no, we're totally into this. It feels like enough layers of separation. We don't know who the person is. We think that's super hot and we like knowing that we're doing that, then hell yeah.
I think this is the perfect example of something that to some couples could be like absolutely cheating, feel so violating, and to other couples it'd be like, ooh, that's actually really sexy.
But probably to most
stranger on the internet. But yeah, that's
probably to most couples.
Yeah.
I mean, like you wouldn't. I mean, it's just like change it to real life. Like, okay, yeah, it's through a toy, but like the intention is that somebody is like jacking you off basically. And like, would you be okay with somebody doing that in real life, like using their hand? If you're not okay with that, then it's like, okay, well, like, I don't know, what if they're like using a glove? It's not actually their hand. And like, that's still probably not okay. And then it's like, okay, so then what if they're doing that like effectively with a digital glove, like through the internet? Like, yeah, that's also probably not okay.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Old high school best friend. We are both married now and have seen each other maybe 2 times in the past 15 years. We communicate sporadically through text. As adults, he expressed in a text conversation that he used to be in love with me and still has feelings of love for me. I didn't reciprocate, by the way. He's in town visiting next month and asked if we could meet up for lunch. My husband is very against it and thinks it's inappropriate.
Oh boy, like this I think is really starting to get into gray area.
I don't know if I agree with that. Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, it's getting into gray area in that, like, no, I would say no, it's definitely not cheating if you go to lunch with this person. I do think, what?
I disagree with you, but I'll hear you out.
It's like not cheating, but it doesn't feel like awesome where it's like, you know, this person is in love with you. If they're in love with you, why are they wanting to have lunch with you other than in some hopes that like perhaps they can help you fall back in love with them too? Unless this person is like, has told you that in the past and now they're like, you know what? Like, I'd love to like have lunch with you, maybe to like get some closure. I want to like move on from this whole thing. No, it just does.
I disagree.
I guess as I'm talking about it, it feels a little icky. Yeah, okay. You know, I think you have convinced me that, but I wouldn't call it, it's not like cheating. Like it's cheating if you go to lunch with this person and then you go hook up with them. But I think that it's like, it's just like, it's a questionable situation. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation in the first place?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that going to lunch is cheating.
Like, you will have cheated on me if you do that.
Yeah, I just think it's not an okay thing to do. Like, your ex is still in love with you. Like, I don't think this is meant to be just a friendly lunch. Like, even if, I'm not saying the ex is like this totally malicious person going into it, like, I'm going to try to break them up. But there's at least some part of them that is wishing and hoping, like, it sure would be nice if their relationship ended and they were still in love with me. So it's just like, there's nothing good that can come of this. And it sounds like, oh, wait, shit, hold on. I just realized I read this wrong. They're old best friends. They're not exes.
Yeah, but in a way it doesn't matter because the person has expressed, I was in love with you and I still am.
Yeah.
But the other question that just came up to me is the person writing in is saying it's their former best friend. They've seen each other 2 times in the last 15 years. They don't even communicate that much. You're not that close to them. So why do you want to like... Why do you want to see them? It's like, and why do you want to see them knowing that how you feel about each other is wildly mismatched?
What you could do if you really want to see this person is you could say super clearly to them, like, hey, I would like to see you to catch up, but I want to be super clear. Like, I'm happily married. I, appreciate your vulnerability and sharing your feelings with me, but I don't reciprocate that. I don't, like, if you're trying to go to lunch with me to like try to win me over, then I don't want to go. Or you could also say like, sure, why don't you bring your partner and I'll bring my partner and all four of us can get together. That way it's like, again, super clear, like this isn't going anywhere. But at the end of the day,
that's a good
think,
suggestion.
Like, yeah.
I forgot that it says they're both married. It should be like, look, like we could get together. But also then it's like, why would you want to get together as couples knowing that they're in love with you? It's just a bad idea. It's a bad idea in general. I don't see anything positive. Now, if this were like, hey, we were best friends, we talk all the time, we still, like I'm getting something out of this relationship, even though this person feels differently for me than I feel for them, or, like we miss each other so much, but that's not what this sounds like. So.
Yeah. Okay, Xander, is it cheating to accept a drink from someone at the bar?
Since I love drinking at bars so much.
Okay, you can ask me instead.
Vanessa, what about accepting a drink from someone at a bar?
I say this is not cheating. I think that's fine to accept a drink. Like, I think it's okay, sending somebody a drink and offering to pay for it and then expecting that they're gonna make out with you or fuck you in return, like that's fucked up. That's gross and weird. So I think like just accepting a drink, and you don't know, like sometimes people are just being, friendly. Hey, send one to my friend down here. That's fine.
Send one to my friend down here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like
Vanessa's
an old-timey saloon or something.
Vanessa's clearly not spending very much time at bars either.
I don't know. Like people sometimes will pay for drinks for each other without it being like a sexual thing. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're accepting the drink and like winking and like come over here and chat with me, like that's not okay. But just like if this is the scenario, you're sitting at the bar, the bartender comes up and said, "Here's this drink. The gentleman at the end sent it to you." That's fine to just like grab it. But if it's like
I disagree. I'm finding myself disagreeing. That one is super weird. Honestly, I think that is super weird when it's like the bartender is like that person down there, because then what that is beneath the surface is if you accept, then they're going to come over and talk to you.
Well, that's okay if they want to talk to you, but then you're just like, that's when you say I'm in a relationship or I'm married or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I feel like there's shades of this though, where it's like, okay, but like, okay.
I just kind of think, get yourself a free drink.
I have questions though. I have questions in this case. Okay, you're in a committed, serious relationship. You're married. Okay, what are you doing like alone in a bar, sitting there hanging out?
You're on a work trip.
Okay, and like, okay, you're alone. You're at the bar. Oh, okay, all right. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like there's some gray areas here, or shades of gray.
It's all gray, babe.
If you're with friends and your friends meet another group of friends and you meet another group. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple girls are together and they meet a couple guys who are together, and like, that group of guys is like, oh, like we'll get a round of drinks for you or something like that. I feel like at that, then it's like, okay, if you guys are hanging out together, you don't need to be like, oh, I'm married, I have to say no. You cannot buy that drink. Take, subtract one from the order because I can't, if I touch that, it's cheating. Like that starts to feel a little weird. But then if it's like a one-on-one situation, I'm not saying it's cheating. I don't think it's cheating. I do think it's kind of like the last one though, where it's like, okay, but like, why are you going to lunch with this person?
I just think like, yeah, if somebody, brings you the drink and they're like, oh, can I get to know you or whatever, then yeah. And if you're like talking to them, yeah, that's weird. But I think if you say, hey, thank you for the drink, I'm in a committed relationship, but like happy to, chat get to know each other as friends. Why are all my scenarios so socially
I'm happy
awkward?
To talk about our hobbies. What hobbies do you do?
Clearly, I'm not sitting at a lot of bars
other than sitting alone at bars drinking. What do you like to do outside of drinking alone? Wow, you're honestly, you're making me sound a lot more sane right now.
I'm just saying I think people can offer to buy each other drinks in a friendly manner. And I think it's okay to accept a drink. But be very clear about the fact that you are not entertaining any sexual advances. There we go.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Sure.
I'm so awkward. I'm happy to accept this drink, but I just want to be clear that I'm in a committed relationship.
Yeah,
we
tell
can
me,
chat as friends.
Tell me
God.
that both of us don't drink without telling me that both of us don't drink.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Secretly masturbating.
I do not think this is cheating. I think that everybody is entitled to their own relationship with their own body. In general, I advocate for people talking openly about masturbation. Like, you're allowed to be in a committed relationship and still have a relationship with your own body and masturbate. And I think masturbating is a great way to like balance out mismatched sex drives, for you to continue exploring your sexuality and like what you like, what your body responds to. So I'm pro masturbation in relationships. I would prefer that people talk about it openly, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with doing it and not telling you. Like, you don't have to announce it I am going to masturbate right now. Of course, this can become problematic if you're prioritizing masturbating over connecting with your partner. So like you're always turning your partner down, or you're never initiating with your partner, but you're spending a lot of time like secretly masturbating. That absolutely can be an issue. But I think
secretly could convey a variety of things here. Or like if you're like, oh no, I'm not
secretly
masturbating.
masturbate. Well, I don't tell you every time I do.
Yeah, but you also don't tell me I don't. Like, I promise you I'm not masturbating, and then you do.
Yeah, but I'm secretly masturbating sometimes. I'm a secret masturbator.
Okay. Secrets. I like it.
So I know I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, again, it can totally, if I was doing that every day or somebody was doing it every day and prioritizing it over their partner, but like
hiding, like secret, like hiding. I feel like the word secretly kind of is a broad word. Like that could be like, I'm actively hiding it, I'm trying to deceive you, or I'm just doing it without your knowledge and you're not asking me about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if there's some sort of like deception behind it, like you're consciously trying to, you know, of course that's weird. But what I'm talking about more is like, you don't need to announce it every single time.
Okay, fair enough. I'm with you.
Okay.
All right, Vanessa, what about paying for OnlyFans?
Okay, this was one of the most common responses that we got. And we get asked about this like all the frickin' time. And this, again, is a perfect example of something that is really going to vary from couple to couple. There are going to be plenty of couples that are not okay with this, and there are going to be some couples that are totally fine or think it's maybe even hot. So for me personally, I do think there's a difference when you start paying for porn. And I think particularly with OnlyFans, there's a more personal relationship that you're having with the person that has the account. Like you're more invested in that particular person versus like, you know, you're just Googling like porn on Google and like finding whatever random thing that
how
comes
we're doing
up.
It these days?
Yeah. I don't know.
Google, find me porn. ChatGPT. Where is the best porn?
So I do, like, again, everybody's going to be different, but I think that this is something that, yeah, once you start paying for it and once you're having like a personal relationship with the person who's creating it, for me, that does feel like cheating. Similarly, another one of the most common ones that we got was following or liking half-naked women on Instagram. We all know the accounts that are like, thirst traps. They're kind of verging on porn. Sometimes they just straight up are porn. I don't understand why these accounts are allowed to exist. And our educational account for couples in long-term committed relationships is always freaking getting flagged on Instagram.
What's up with that, Meta?
Very annoying, but yeah, this was probably the second most common response. It was like following these accounts or like liking photos, like the obvious thirst trapped photos. We only got asked about women. There apparently aren't very many men thirst trap accounts.
Oh, I'm sure there are. I am sure that there are.
We didn't get asked about it. We
see plenty of male cooking
Cooking.
thirst
I
trap.
was just about to say that. There's that guy who's like a baker who makes a super over the top, like he's spanking the dough and like fingering the fruit that goes into it. It's really over the top.
It actually grosses me out.
Yeah, it grosses me out too, to be honest. Okay, so again, this is another one. You got to talk about it in your individual relationship. There is no objective, like right or wrong here.
Yeah, but unless like both of you are deriving a lot of like zing for each other out of this, my question is just like why? Like why are you especially liking? Like
the liking is
why?
so sad to me.
Yeah, what are you getting out of that? What are you
Yeah,
getting out of it?
Exactly. To
Other
me,
than
like,
hoping to get validation from the person. And that is some emotional infidelity. Like trying to get validation from
like what are
some
you hoping for
half-naked
that
person.
she's gonna like message you back and be like, thanks daddy for the like, you're making me so hot. I don't know if I've ever been this awkward in an episode. What is going on?
That was so good.
Making me
Wow.
so hot.
That's what every man is secretly. You cracked the code. You cracked the code. That is exactly, literally, word for word, what every man is looking for when he likes a thirst trap. Thanks, Daddy.
I'm gonna start my own thirst trap account. It'll not have my face on it, but I'll just, yeah. Anyways, let me stop being awkward. For me personally, this would feel like emotional cheating to me. Like I would not be thrilled. No. And again, it's like, it's about the specificity of the person. Like knowing that there's this specific person that you're like, yes, I want to follow her. I want to see all of her half naked photos. Yes, I want to like all of her photos. Like that just doesn't feel very great to me. So I would not be comfortable with you. Not like we haven't had to have a conversation about Instagram, but yeah, I would not feel comfortable with you following specific accounts and engaging with them as well. Mm-hmm. And this feels like a lot of time, I think what often happens is like a dude has been following a bunch of accounts and then he gets into a relationship and like just doesn't bother to go through and unfollow them. I think that is the case sometimes, but it's just like, just get in your account and like,
yeah, but then
unfollow
also
it.
like then they're in your feed.
Yeah.
It's not like you can be like, oh, I didn't realize I was following these people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, like that influences your feed and all the content that you get and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'd ask yourself, what am I trying to get out of this? And like get curious. Like, is there something that I feel like is missing sexually? Romantically, is there some zing that I'm looking for that I'm not getting in my relationship? How might I try to get that in my own relationship rather than getting it somewhere else? Because the reality is you might not be bringing your full self sexually into your relationship because you're having this other more like exotic zing met elsewhere, so to speak.
I mean, for me, it is really specific about like a specific person. So if you follow like, I don't know, Maxim or something, like the Maxim Instagram account where it's like they're posting a bunch of different pictures of women, you know, it's still like, okay, whatever.
Really? I feel kind of the same. Like,
no,
why? Like, why would you? Like, I just love Maxim, favorite magazine.
I don't know. Like, I objectively don't have an issue with you like watching porn. Like, I think that's fine. You're allowed to have your own relationship with your own sexuality. You're allowed to like get turned on by other things and other visuals. Like, that's okay. But to me, there is something about like when there's a specific person that you're really engaging with and you're developing that like parasocial relationship with. I mean, it would be the same thing if you're like, oh, here's my favorite porn star and I like want to watch every video she makes or like, you know, only follow her. Like it's just this connection that starts to feel uncomfortable versus like, oh, Maxim has like hot photos or, you know, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, whatever. I guess for me, it just keeps coming back to the like, but like, why do you want to? It's like, I don't find myself wanting to do that because like I want to have that energy with you and like not with somebody else. So even if you can, like, why should you is kind of like what I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to a strip club. Is that in and of itself cheating? Okay, so again, another one here where it's like, obviously you have to have a conversation about it in your own relationship. We had somebody who said like getting a lap dance in a private room. I was clear that I was not okay with it before. That is absolutely cheating.
100%.
If you're like, I don't feel comfortable and your partner does that anyways, 100% that's cheating. But the act in and of itself of going to a strip club, do you think that is cheating?
No, I wouldn't say it is cheating in and of itself. It's if you take further actions, perhaps, then it starts to get into that cheating category.
I agree. I don't think a strip club is cheating. But again, it is the specificity with if there's like one stripper that you're like every Friday night going to see Dallas.
Hey, Daddy, thanks for coming.
Get ready for your lap dance. Then I think that starts to get weird. But I don't think strip club in and of itself. And I don't think a lap dance in and of itself is cheating.
Okay, but now there's some like gradations of this. Like if we're married and I'm just like, hey babe, I'm gonna just go to the strip club by myself tonight.
That's weird.
Yeah, like
strip
my question is,
okay.
why are you at the strip club? Are you at the
Bachelor
strip club
party.
because you're with a bunch of friends and they dragged you there, or are you there like to support your bachelor bro, or are you there like or are you there because you were alone on a work trip and like wanted to go to the strip club? Like that's like I'm not going to be like, oh, it's for sure cheating if you went by yourself, but like I'd be like, you got to get real honest with yourself. Like why are you making these decisions? Why are you doing this? So if you're like, yeah, I know exactly why I'm doing this, then like I mean the answer has to be, well, I like am not very happy maybe with stuff that's going on in my relationship. I don't know. It just seems like there's no good answer to that where you're like, oh yeah, I have 5 really great reasons for why I'm here alone paying for lap dances and my wife is at home and has no idea about it.
It's true. Yeah.
I can't think of any real good reasons personally, but if you can, send them my way. I'd love to know what they are.
The solution is go to the strip club together because that can be very sexy.
Yeah, if you're both into that, then hell yeah.
Okay, now we have a whole category of things. The category is called coworkers. This was again another one of the most popular responses. So here are 3 different examples that we got sent. Going to lunch with a coworker of the opposite sex, kissing a coworker of the opposite sex on the forehead. And at a work retreat, the husband didn't stay in an assigned hotel room with a male coworker, but instead stayed in the room of a female coworker. He says, nothing happened. I feel icky. Okay, so going to lunch with a coworker of the opposite sex, is that cheating?
No.
I agree.
If that is, I've done a lot of cheating in the past.
Kissing a coworker of the opposite sex on the forehead.
How did the coworker feel about this? I feel like I got to know.
It's a little weird.
I feel like I got to know the context.
Grown adults
of this.
on the forehead when it's like not your grandchild or something.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like something you do to a child, not to a friend, even. But I mean, probably not cheating. But what type of kiss was it, and how did it happen?
A French kiss on the forehead.
That's weird.
What do you mean? What type of kiss? It's just a peck.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be like.
What if they're European? You know, all those Europeans and their forehead
and then you miss the cheek.
What about a cheek kiss? A European cheek kiss, double cheek kiss.
I mean, I feel like that's like a cultural thing that you do. I feel like I've done that to multiple people. We lived in Europe, and there's certain people that you kiss them on the cheek.
Yeah.
And you kiss them either once or twice, depending on where they're from.
I think a kiss on the cheek is fine. And a kiss on the forehead is a little weird, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, what was the context? Was it like you went in for a kiss on the lips and they turned their head down and you landed on the forehead? Or is this just like, hey, I really care about you. Bye. Mwah.
I feel like we need to do maybe a whole episode about, like, work spouses. But okay, here's the last one, the work retreat. He was supposed to stay with a male coworker, but instead he stayed in the female coworker's room.
That is kind of icky, just like
so
weird.
too.
Yeah, like you had a plan to stay with somebody else. Now, I think it's a different story because when I used to work at Google, when we went on work retreats, it was 2 people to a room. And God, I can't even remember now if you were allowed to have an opposite sex.
I would not feel comfortable with that.
What I'm saying is if it was like pre-planned, like, hey, this is my, I'm going to room with so-and-so because they're my friend and everyone is on board with that. It's all above board. Then yeah, I'm saying that's fine. But I think the thing with this one is that it's like you made a plan to stay with your male coworker and then you didn't. Like, what happened?
That's weird.
What happened and why?
But I just don't think I would feel comfortable with you staying with a woman in your room. Like, it just... And I realize that this gets like more complicated too with same-sex couples as well. Mm-hmm. And it's not that like, inherently any person of the opposite sex, like you're just going to be attracted to. Like, reality or the like likelihood is that you're not, but sharing a room with somebody is just really intimate.
Well, I mean, I like to sleep naked. At the very least, I would be
definitely
like,
not allowed to sleep naked.
Yeah, at the very least, like I'd be in my underwear, but and then it's like, it's just, I mean, maybe do we sound really prude right now?
Maybe. For sure we do to some
I mean,
people.
I'm assuming they're separate beds.
Oh, if it's the same bed, hell no. You're not sharing a bed with a coworker? Oh my God, no.
On one of my Google retreats, I was sharing a room with like a male colleague, a friend, and we ended up in like, I think because it was like Google, it was a huge retreat and they like rented out the entire hotel or something like that. And we ended up, so that means that there were many configurations of rooms. We ended up in like a suite, but it was like a suite with just a king bed. And then I ended up sleeping like I got a cot or something like that. It was just like, it's like, yeah, like if it was one of my like best friends, I probably would, like my college friends or something, I would have shared the bed with them. But it was like, it's like a work thing. I was like, I don't know. I'll just sleep on the couch.
I don't know. I'm going back and forth on this one because it's like, if it was a female friend of yours that I knew...
Yeah, but we're talking about like, if there was a plan for it.
Yeah,
if we talked about it in advance.
I knew and yeah, I think maybe I would be okay with that, but I don't know. It does feel it's a very intimate thing to share a room with somebody. It just feels like a little. I wouldn't say it's cheating to do that, but it just feels a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would totally validate this person. They say they feel icky. Yeah, you absolutely. It makes sense that you feel icky about that. This is super weird. Your husband said he was going to stay with someone else, and then he stayed with a different person.
Yeah. Okay, next one. This one was interesting. Sending pictures of yourself to someone else, but the pictures are not nudes, and they're not scantily clad. It's just like a photo of yourself.
Like a selfie?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Be like me sending surf pics of myself to other people? If that's the case, I have definitely cheated.
I don't think this is cheating.
No, I don't think so either.
It's kind of funny that somebody like
like there's nothing suggestive, no
concern. What are your concerns?
What is the
if
concern?
There's nothing? Yeah, they're not scantily clad. They're not nudes. It's just a selfie. Okay, talking about our relationship issues with a friend of the opposite sex without me knowing. I'm assuming here that these are straight people. So it's like, yes, opposite sex, talking about relationship issues.
I feel like what's tricky here is there's context missing. Like how close of a friend is this? Is this like your longtime best friend? Or is it just like a random, like, an okay friend of the opposite sex that you've opened up to?
No, I think this is a perfect example for me of like switch the genders. Like if you're not going to get upset about, let's say it's Xander. If I'm not going to get upset about him talking to his dude friend about, trying to get advice about our relationship issues, like I can't get upset about him talking to a female friend. I don't know. That just seems a little silly to me. And I think, again, this kind of goes back to that earlier question that we had about like, a lot of men feel like they can have more intimate relationships with female friends than they can with male friends. So I think a lot of men are like, yeah, if I'm having some sort of relationship issue, I feel more comfortable taking it to a female friend.
Yeah.
And like if I take it to my dude friend, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah, that's tough, bro. Sometimes it goes like that.
Sometimes. It's sad. It's not men's faults. It's the bullshit socialization that you guys get. We're here to teach you more emotional intelligence. But yeah, I don't think that's cheating.
Yeah. Now, where it starts to become more of a personal judgment call, because the reality is, like the person writing in wouldn't know about this per se. But like, okay, if I was having relationship issues with you and I went and talked to one of my female friends about it, and like, maybe those issues keep going on and I keep talking to her about it, and she starts saying to me like, oh, like I would never do that to you if we were together. Oh, like, if she starts giving you like personal like validation, or like, oh God,
or if you start saying like, I'm thinking about leaving her, what do you think I should do?
Yeah, or she's
Would
like,
you
oh,
do this to me?
That's messed up. She shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I never do that to people, or I would never say that if we were together. If it starts to cross this line into like a comparative thing, then
that's
I think that's on you to be like, hey, you don't feel like the right friend to be bringing this stuff to. You don't feel like an objective friend. Like, it sounds like you are kind of positioning to make a move here, and that doesn't feel good.
This one cracked me up a little bit. Exchanging handwritten letters, platonic, that neither of our partners know we write.
It sounds like this person's a little worried about this. Maybe it's been going on for a while.
Okay, I think...
Why don't your partners know?
Exactly. So just exchanging handwritten letters, so quaint. You guys are just as nerdy as I am. Exchanging handwritten letters, like, that's not cheating. But it is a little like, well, why don't your partners know that you write that?
Yeah, and why are you... And you're finding yourself a bit worried.
Yeah.
Huh. What might this look like?
You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
are you veering into this is not so great territory here?
Because you have to start considering, what might this look like from the other side? Mm-hmm. What might this look like if my partner found my treasure trove
you
of
have
letters?
To imagine your partner reading the letters. If you imagine your partner reading the letters and you're like, I don't like that, then that's probably veering into emotional cheating territory. But if you're like, yeah, no, my friend and I are just kind of dorky and we like to use our little quills and write by candlelight, our platonic handwritten letters, then there's nothing wrong with that. All right, Xander, reaching out to an ex via Instagram and rehashing past sexual experiences.
Cheating.
You're cheating. Don't do that. That's not good. That's not okay.
That?
No rehashing past sexual experiences.
Yeah.
No. That's just a
no. No.
Okay. Our last one is a real doozy. And I actually read it incorrectly at first. I read it as him sending nudes to people I don't know. And at first I was like, yeah, I mean, him sending nudes to somebody who's not his partner, like, that's definitely cheating. But then I went back and I reread it, and it's actually him sending my nudes to people I don't know.
That is not only cheating, I think that is probably illegal.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like, you could probably get him arrested for that and put in jail.
That is so not okay on so many different levels. Like, your nudes belong to you. You get to decide who does and doesn't see them. Him sending them without your clear, explicit, enthusiastic consent is completely not okay. I was like, my mind was a little bit blown when I read that one. Like,
yeah, it's completely not okay and also illegal.
Yeah. Is it cheating though?
Yes. Well, like, yeah, yes.
They're not his nudes.
They are. It's true. They're not. They're not his.
No, but he's trying to have a sexualized interaction with another person. He's not using his own materials. He's using somebody else's, but it's still cheating.
Yeah.
It's cheating. It's illegal. It's wrong. It's bad. It's all the things.
It is. Wow.
What a great one to wrap up on.
Wow.
Okay, so like we said at the top, We have so many more scenarios. So please come on over to Instagram and let us know if you want a part 2 to Is This Cheating? We are at Vanessa and Xander. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're not following us already, definitely make sure to follow over there. We share all sorts of amazing content, a lot of fun polls and question boxes to help us build out these episodes. So we would love to connect with you on another platform too.
And if you love this episode, please do us a huge favor. Right now, go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and a short review. Reviews help us so far in getting new people to listen to our podcast. They don't help us so far. They go so far.
Help us so far.
They go so far in getting our podcast in front of other people, showing that we are legit, helping other people discover us, listen to us, get help from listening to our episodes, and we're so appreciative in advance of you leaving that review. We do a Review of the Week giveaway every week where we read one random review from the podcast. If you hear your review read, then you have won a free masterclass. All you need to do is DM us on Instagram, let us know that that was your review, and we'll get you hooked up. So this week's Review of the Week, without further ado,
life-changing material. Vanessa and Xander have seriously changed my life. No exaggeration. Between therapy, this podcast, and the hard work that both have supported me doing, my level of happiness and quality of life is better than ever. Woo. I come from a background of an abusive childhood, mental, emotional, religious, sexual, you name it. Oh man, the material you guys cover helps me feel so understood and like there's so much hope. I've gone from having zero sex drive and feeling like I could live without sex for the rest of my life to initiating almost daily, trying so many new things, talking openly in a healthy way about sex with my husband and kids, asking for what I need, and sincerely loving myself more. Oh my God. Jeez, this is really good. I still have a lot of work left to do, but your thoughtful and intentional material has helped tremendously and will continue to be a part of my work. Keep it coming. It's the highlight of my week. Appreciate y'all so much. P.S. Invest in the guides. They're worth it. Oh my God.
Wow. This might be the best review we've ever gotten.
We don't read these before they go into the podcast. Like our team member Emma picks them and plops them in. So they're little surprises for us every time we read them. And this is a really amazing one. I'm so freaking proud of you and all the work that you're doing. Like that is seriously incredible. And I'm so honored to have been a part of your journey. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it. And if you do want to check out our guides, you can go over to vmtherapy.com. We'll put a link in the show notes straight to the courses page for you if you also want to do that. But yeah, thank you again for this amazing review.
All right, well, that's it for today's episode of Pillow Talks. Thank you so much for listening. Join us again next week when we talk about mutual masturbation without sending nudes or pictures or any of it with anybody else. Mutual only with your partner.